What is up, Earthnoids, Spacenoids, and Jovians? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we're returning to Mobile Suit Crossbone Gundam. Last time, Crossbone Vanguard defeated Crux Dogati, but it was a bio unit, and he backed himself up to multiple computers. Zabine betrays the crew and begins working with Professor Karis, who also sent out the Death Gale team. In this episode, the team will meet up with the Earthnoids, and we will meet a relative of Bera. Also, the team will be double-crossed, and they will have to go up against EFF. So let's get into this. 3 days later, Tabaya was able to make it back to the Mother Vanguard. Uman chalks it up to new type intuition. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to bring back Bernadette/Tetaneth. He tells Bera that he heard Crux mention that he doesn't need Earth anymore. Many Spacenoids adapt to their surroundings, and Jovians are no different. But their detachment from Earth makes them seem less human. Perhaps he is planning something even more devastating. Traveling between planets requires a lot of fuel and power. Any mobile suit that strays too far from the mothership will never be able to catch back up to them. They were initially going to take a short route and beat Crux's Jupiterus to Earth. However, the ship and the mast has extensive damage, and they won't be the first ones to arrive. All they could do is wait. They're going over the battle data on the Death Gale team's mobile suits. Uman suggests that range will determine victory, so he suggests that they extend the range for their weapons. They have plenty of time during their slow trip back to Earth. It will take another 2.5 months. Meanwhile, Crux Dogati has already made it to Earth and introduced himself to EFF as an ambassador from Jupiter. Bera gets word that Sheridan and the Earthnoids has some supplies for them. EFF has doubled their defenses around the Earth sphere, and SNRI hasn't been able to get supplies out to Crossbone Vanguard, so they sent Sheridan as a middleman. Bera tells Tabaya that Sheridan is her cousin, who still is dedicated to resurrecting the aristocracy. They send them a rendezvous location. Uman gives Tabaya a history lesson on the aristocracies, but he doesn't seem to get it and finds it dumb. Bera reminds him that there are people on this ship that were once a part of that class. They meet up with the Earthnoids and with Sheridan, who Bera just calls Sherry. The first thing she says is that Tabaya still isn't a true new type. In the hangar, they receive a new model. It is the X-3. The XM-X3 Crossbone Gundam X-3 veers from the design of X1 and X2. Instead of beam shields, it has arm-mounted eye-field generators. Unlike a beam shield, an eye-field can block a VSBR, though it has a cooldown time. The main weapon is the Muramasa Blaster, which emits 14 beam sabers and has a beam gun at the tip. These are so powerful that only the unit's own eye-field can stop it. Other weapons include Vulcans, a mega machine gun, a beam saber, a heat dagger, the scissor anchor, and the beam zamber. It also has dummy balloons, anti-beam coating, and the face vent. Tabaya wonders who the pilot will be, but Uman says, definitely not you. It's totally gonna be him. Bera and Sheridan have a discussion over a cup of tea. She says that the boy doesn't know it, but he seems to have great new type potential. She says, I must have him. She's kind of a new type collector. Bera says that it is not her choice to make, but that isn't why she is here. She is here to convince her to stop fighting with the Jupiter Empire. Her collection of new types and wanting to buy it isn't just for fun. She is waiting for an era when new types can be the driving force of humanity. She believes that for that to happen, the Earth must remain undisturbed. She believes that Crossbone Vanguard's involvement would potentially cause the world to return to a state of war, where many lives will once again be lost. She doesn't want Bera to let this happen and wants her to rather come to the negotiating table. For Sheridan, she just wants the world to remain intact so they could reach the point where new types can eventually take over. The future of new types is in the Spacenoid. Ultimately, she doesn't care who is in charge of Earth so long as less people die. And Crux Dogati's covert plan to take over seems to end with less lives lost, at least according to her. She isn't having any of this. Sheridan thought that Bera would actually say this, so they laid a trap for her. They're suddenly surrounded by EFF forces. The Federation launches the mass production Type F-91s, with the exception of the biosensor, the multiple construction armor, and the metal peel-off effect. These units are identical to the unit we saw 10 years ago. Only pilots that go on to modify this unit will have access to the face vents. With the F-91s are the new balls, called the 133s. The RB-133 Ball Model 133 is the successor to the original ball and functions as a support unit to F-91. The Federation refers to this as their high-low mix concept. They take a high-end unit like F-91 and pair it with many low-end support units, in this case, the 133. Everything has been improved from the original ball, but it is still considered a flying coffin by its pilots. It is equipped with the triple cannon, which is just 3 of the original single cannons used by the RG ball fused together. It also has 30mm Vulcans. Also, among the Federation forces is the new Reinforced class ship. The Reinforced light cruiser evolved from the Cloud class ship and the Space Ark class ship. Unlike the Space Ark, the Reinforced class miniaturizes the radiator fins and relocates them under the ship. This allows fuel and power consumption to be reduced greatly. Because of the reduction of size of the radiators, it could add 4 twin megaparticle cannons. This will be in service all the way up until the UC-150s. Other weapons include 8 triple anti-aircraft guns and 4 missile launchers. EFF orders them to follow them back to a Federation station. Barra is left with no choice but to listen to their commands. Their ship and mobile suits are still heavily damaged. Even if they were to defeat EFF, they would be weak when they face the Jupiter fleet. They can't win this. On top of that, EFF isn't their enemy. They still don't know of Jupiter's fleet's true intentions. Attacking them would make them seem like the pirates they think they are. EFF thanks Sheridan for her help. She also took Tobiah as a prisoner. She says she is trying to protect him to turn him into a great new type. Barra seems to be at a breaking point, and Kincaid embraces her. It is going to be a long escort. They will just wait for their opportunity to make the right move. Kincaid gets nostalgic seeing the F-91. He mentions that the unit's VSBR system is still something not to take lightly even after 10 years. For those who forget, VSBR means Variable Speed Beam Rifle. That is when Zabine in the X-2 comes in and makes things complicated by attacking one of the Federation ships. Wildcard, bitches! EFF thinks that the space pirates are tricking them, so they engage in combat. They have no choice but to head out to fight. Kincaid tells the Crossbone Vanguard team that their beam shields won't work on the VSBR. He demonstrates that the pilot indeed makes the mobile suit as he tears through 2 units with ease. However, one pilot exhibits great skills as he gets a hit on X1. The mother has taken too much damage. Barra needs to escape. In the distance, the Death Gale team approaches the battle. Taking out the space pirates here will allow Jupiter to move their fleet closer to Earth. The F-91 fires the VSBR. Kincaid takes his beam shields and throws the 2 of them and unsheaths his beam Zamber. The VSBR's beam is weakened by the 2 shields, and the Zamber is able to take the rest of the blast. This would have killed Kincaid if it was a direct hit. He goes in to destroy F-91's limbs. He doesn't kill the pilot and tells him that they are not his enemy before heading back to the ship. Giddy and the Quavarze surrounds the Mother Vanguard with a team of Batalas. On the Jupitris, Crux is forcing Tetaneth to go out in the new mobile armor. She won't actually be piloting anything. She will just sit in the cockpit, and Crux will do most of the work. If she dies, well then, it will just boost morale for the people. She says that her father is gone. He agrees as he essentially is just a ghost in the shell and isn't tied down to any body. She launches in the Elegolia, or Elegoria. The EMA-06 Elegolia is a transformable mobile armor that resembles a snake. Like the Elefante's flexible nose cannon, this has a flexible tail cannon. Its main feature is the organic computer control system, which allows Crux to control the unit remotely. Other weapons include 3 megaparticle cannons on the left shoulder, and a large heat glaive, which we will also see used by the Diona. Tobiah is able to break out of his cell, but Sheridan is able to find him due to her new type powers. She tells him that she won't make it to the Mother Vanguard and they will be destroyed. She suggests that he forget about them and look to the future as a new type. Tobiah didn't understand why Barra allows her enemies to walk the plank instead of killing them, but he is starting to realize that her methods are better than whatever the hell this is. He doesn't want to be a new type if it means leaving humanity behind. Her and her men won't allow him to leave. She threatens to shoot him. Tobiah decides to give Sheridan equal rights and equal lefts. He says the bright slap isn't enough. It's time to use my fists. He makes her bleed and grabs one of her guard's knife. He takes it and cuts his forearm. It's so fast, but he's trying to show that he bleeds just like her, meaning they are the same and she isn't above anyone. But this should be like a single panel splash page instead of one tiny panel on a 7-panel page. He runs off and Sheridan lets him go. Her security guards were useless too, just stood there and watched. Tobiah runs into the hangar and gets into X-3. A squad of Dionas guard the Elegolia. The EMS-08 Diona was designed for demonstration purposes, but supposedly they are on par with the Erebato. Its only weapon is a beam rifle, but these units guarding the Elegolia also are equipped with a large heat Naginata. Tobiah in X-3 comes in attacking Dionas. They fire on him and he uses his eye field. He didn't realize it requires a cooldown and uses it all up at once. He now has to wait 1 minute and 45 seconds for the cooldown. He is able to take out some of the Dionas. Tobiah contacts Kincaid, who tells him to escape with the Mother Vanguard crew as the ship is going down, and Barra activated the self-destruct. Kincaid is holding his own with the Death Gale team, but that is when Sabine and X2 come in. The two engage in battle. The X3 takes down more Dionas. The face on the Diona is so uncanny. Tobiah doesn't know how to use the Muramasa blaster. The Elegolia approaches and begins fighting X3. Tetaneth tells Tobiah that she is inside the mobile armor, but not in control of it. That is when Crux comes on the comms. Crux comes on the comm sounds like a metal song. The mobile armor shoots, but Tobiah activates his eye field. Time to cool down again. The Elegoria rams X3. He still has 15 seconds left until he could use the eye field. The Elegolia takes the Muramasa blaster and turns off the safety, activating the rapier-like beam weapons. As the mobile armor swings down, Tobiah is able to block the attack with his hand. And that will do it for this episode. Things are not looking good for our heroes as the Jupiter Empire gets the upper hand. The pacing of this manga is very fast. One moment you are on the bridge of the ship, and the next moment you are out in space fighting. But I am glad they slowed down the pacing to show off Kincaid's skills. Did you see when he threw that beam shield? Next time, Tobiah will save Tetaneth / Bernadette. Kincaid and Sabine finally fight, and Tobiah makes it to Earth. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, we all bleed red. Except for in that anime Razafon, they bled blue. You remember that? Anyone remember that? No? Okay. Peace.